Oh, well, it's been a while since I posted on the channel. There's been a lot of videos I've seen them posted about, look at this, I've been on holiday. So, Citizen Vigilante, what were my thoughts? So, look at it from a movie perspective, and I love movies, and I know you guys do. It had been shot on a shoestring. I suspect Army Hammer would have taken up most of the budget. There's some continuity issues in the movie, some scenes that kind of didn't make sense. But when I thought about them, we'll come to that. And I thought, okay. And the story behind the character, I thought about it. Maybe I've got a slightly different thought process. But let's just look at it. So, as a movie, the theme, yes, set that to one side. But the movie making itself, and I'm not a movie maker, but it lacked continuity. There was some errors in there that didn't kind of make sense. The whole SWAT team going up the stairs, was it really SWAT? Where was it? Where it was shot? Was it meant to portray where it was shot, or was it a global film? In other words, it had SWAT on the back, even though it was shot in Croatia because that's where they were allowed to shoot it. Was he just trying to suspend belief, but didn't really care where he saw that it was the language on the walls was all in Croatian? It's not the first time we've had movies like that. I mean, you get lots of films that are shot in countries that are trying to portray America. Yeah, and it's not. It's like in the East, in the Eastern European countries. So I kind of put all that to one side. And the scene with the AK-47s and the thing, and that with the 40-round mags, and the SWAT team taking 14 days to get up the stairs, and everyone just gets shot in the room. Well, that was that just lambs being led to the slaughter in order to protect the message? That's what I would argue. Because I've seen people criticize and say, well, that sort of Interpol inspector, he sent about 30 people in there, or 19, 20 people in there, and they just got shot. Is that the cost of trying to keep the message down, of trying to suppress the messenger, regardless? And I think that's a bigger picture, bigger theme. I'm probably wrong. Now, you go to the hotel scene. If you haven't guys seen the movies, no spoiler alert, my recommendation is watch it if you want to see the messaging behind the movie, but don't expect to be seeing a great cinematic experience. It's a very challenging experience. It's not intellectually demanding at all. It doesn't hide its message at all. And that's all the obvious stuff, like, Matt Murdock, Travis Bickle, all those guys, all those, Dirty Harry and Death Wish was Charles Bronson, and Pepper with Jennifer Garner. And there's been lots of movies, Jodie Foster. There's been lots of movies that have been themed around vigilantism that, whilst they may not be the perfect movie, haven't been ostracized, if you like, banned to some degree. I know this has been banned in Germany, I've heard, but it's I watched it because I wanted to see what the hoo-ha was about. I think the director done Green Knight, didn't he? And I struggled to watch that a few years ago. So I don't think it's a particularly sort of Hollywood executive, successful director. I've seen clips where he's bashed Hollywood, and be that as it may, kind of that doesn't matter in as much as the film's garnered a lot of interest. The scene in the hotel room where he's with the working girl and there's a sexual encounter, and yet it goes to the fact that he's looking at the mold and the walls, so he's not really interested in the encounter. He's interested in the detail of what's gone wrong. That was the key. And then you get his subplot, and you learn how he's a colonel, a former colonel, US Army operative, Michael Sanderson, I think his name is, in the character. It's Army Hammer, who I think plays him really well in that context. If the script he was given, he's done really well with it, in my opinion. And he has all these businesses. But if he's, because it's a bit of a mixed message here, because he talks to the guy, he goes to a scene, and spoiler alert, where he has all these buildings he owns with tenants in them, and they're saying, you've got to, how many people are not paying? He said, well, 10% aren't paying, and they go through the whole eviction process. And he says, no, I want them out now. I want them out after 4 weeks. So he's not. It looks like it's part of a business which is a Leviathan making money, a massive amount of money, and he wants to protect the money as much as he wants to have this message against this Islamic threat, which what the movie tells you about. So I think the message carries a double tail of businesses don't care until someone steps in. But it's in the film, he still didn't care. He wanted his profits protected. He wanted his money. And yet he also wanted justice. So I was confused by that, and I still am to a degree. Is he saying that the world will operate under capitalism and that that's not the same as an injustice of a crime? I don't know. That was interesting. But I think the thing what I would ask you guys is to ask yourself one question when you see it and if you saw it. If you saw it already, and setting aside all as somebody who likes to enjoy movies, I think, okay, that kind of scene didn't work. It's shot on a shoestring. You can see some sort of error where you think, oh, it doesn't flow as well as you wanted to. But you can't mistake what the message is in the movie. Whether you like the message or not, that's not relevant as far as I'm concerned. It's, did the movie have a message? Did it give you the message? And did it portray exactly what it set out to do from the start? Yes. Now, there's going to be I've seen the whole raft of people raging about it, against it and for it. And, oh my God, it's about the existential threat of, and that's okay. You can have that. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, if you watch it, at the end of it, ask yourself, were you mortified at what you watched, or were you somewhat impacted by the message that you found difficult to dispute? I'm not going to tell you what I think, because it's not relevant what I think, guys. I'm not in any position of power. It's just that the movie was interesting from that perspective. Objectively, not a well-made movie, but objectively a strong message that it tells you what it's going to do. It pulls no punches, and there's no pun intended there. It's very graphic. It's very explicitly violent. You're looking for the heart of the movie. And if you think you find it, you've got to ask yourself why. Why do you, if I'm not asking, does it resonate with you? It's, does the message find a place that sits with you that you find difficult to reject? Then the film's achieved what it wanted to achieve, in my opinion. But there will be another one, because he's left the door open. I mean, if you watch the movie, I hope I haven't spoiled it too much. I haven't detailed scenes. I'm not putting clips up of Armie Hammer. I'm not putting clips of this scene and that scene. This is just, I watched it yesterday, and those are my initial thoughts. Objectively, it's not, I don't think it's a good film. It's like a 5. But for the achievement of its message and what it's trying to tell you and how it gets that to you, it's like an 8.5. But it's the subject matter. We've seen Vigilante movies before. They're just not new at all. So yes, if you find any of it resonates with you, ask yourself why, then go away and do your own research and your own thoughts and self-reflections and double challenge yourself. I'm not saying you're right or wrong, but it's going to be fun to watch the internet go wild over this and watch politicians go wild, and probably have something in the UK Parliament where they talk about how it's, like it portrays whatever an X. And I'm not really interested in what they've got to say. I'm more interested in what you've got to say in the comments. A thought-provoking movie that isn't a well-made film, in my opinion. From a cinematography perspective, how it flows, some of it kind of doesn't fit. I don't work why it fits, and I'll leave that to you guys. But the theme, perfect. He nails it. It's what he wants to tell you is what you see. Is it a reflection of societal issues, the existential belief that it's an existential threat? Certainly portrays that. Go and watch it, guys. And if you have watched it, let me know what you think. Yeah. I'm neither advocating or denigrating the movie. I'm just saying that's what I thought. And as somebody who's reflected on what I watched, that's what I think about what I've watched. Till next time, guys. Take care.